I want to make an essay from Tobey Maguire Spider-Man all the way to Tom Holland Spider-Man. All I really want to do is discuss. I'll say my opinion and maybe you can add, take away. I just want to talk about Spider-Man at the core of this. And I don't want to talk about comic book lore. I'm not here to point out the inconsistencies from the comic books to the movies. I want to break it down into 3 pieces: plot, motive, character. The plot for the first film is riveting. It shows itself front and center, it doesn't hide, you don't question it, you know what it is. I won't give you the entire film. The movie starts you off with Tobey, a heavily outcasted senior. The story really makes you root for Tobey when he gets his powers, and that is what's so captivating about Tobey's Spider-Man, is you really root for him. You really feel guilty. You are Spider-Man. Oh, by the way, spoilers, obviously, because it's from 2002 though, so watch it, what are you waiting for? So the plot for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is responsibility of being Spider-Man. He needs to be Spider-Man. Why? Because it's a fucking Spider-Man film, right? It's in the title. Tobey gets his superpowers, beats up MJ's boyfriend, sees her run into a big ass car. He then finds an article in the paper for an ad, gets an idea to get the money to buy a car to impress MJ, because now he has these amazing powers. Tobey, that's not using your powers in a responsible way. I hope there's no consequences. Before he goes to the ring, Uncle Ben wants to talk to him. And he doesn't do this in a way where he shoves the information down your throat. He's talking to Peter more than an uncle, more than a dad. He's talking to Peter like a friend, man to man, eye level. And Tobey is a fucking dick about it.
And I know I'm not your father.
Then stop pretending to be.
Right.
He doesn't want to listen to Uncle Ben because he already has let the superpowers get to his head. Tobey wins the fight, but gets swindled by the manager for the prize money. He leaves, and the guy who swindled Tobey gets robbed. Tobey sees this happen.
You could have taken that guy apart. Now he's going to get away with my money.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Now this is what Uncle Ben was talking about. Was it talking about? Fuck my life. Now this is what Uncle Ben was warning about. Uncle Ben was warning Tobey to be responsible with the man he needs to be. You don't run away, but you don't do nothing. That isn't Spider-Man. The scene plays out. The robber gets away. Uncle Ben gets shot, and Tobey goes after the guy who shot Uncle Ben. And again, when Tobey Maguire goes after the guy who shot Uncle Ben, he is mad. He's ready to kill. He is fucking Batman at this point. But guess what?
Thanks.
And in that moment, you feel bad. You feel guilty. You feel stupid for rooting for Tobey. And that's good plot. You now want and need Tobey to be responsible. When Tobey puts on that mask, saves those kids, stops Green Goblin. Sorry, spoilers. You feel good about it. At the end of the movie, when Tobey Maguire says no to MJ because he needs to be Spider-Man, you feel that. That's really good plot. Also, I don't need to get into Spider-Man 2. Sorry, I should have put those two together. They're exactly the same movie. Scientist makes himself a villain. Spider-Man ruins Harry's life a little bit more. Villain is a mentor of Tobey's, and Tobey watches the villain kill himself. Crazy. Also, I will get to Spider-Man 3. That's a whole different thing. I will get to it. I'm going to combine 1, 2, and 3 because the motive should and is the same. It is about being a Spider-Man. It is about being Spider-Man. Motive is overly great in the Spider-Man film. Even the third, it is really present in the film, and I promise you I will get to that in just a fucking moment. See, Tobey's first Spider-Man film sets up the motive. He needs to learn how to be responsible, and he needs to learn how to be Spider-Man, and he chooses to do that, and that shows at the end of the movie when he's
Be your friend.
Only your friend? Peter Parker?
That's all I have to give.
He's making the responsible choice to be Spider-Man by saying no to what he had wanted from the beginning. Second film, he chooses to be Spider-Man. At the end of Spider-Man 2,
Tell him who you really were.
Then you know why we can't be together. Spider-Man will always have enemies. I can't let you take that risk. I will always be Spider-Man.
because he still wants to be responsible. He still wants to take the responsible choice and be Spider-Man. It's only at the end.
Can't you respect me enough to let me make my own decision? I know there'll be risks.
And that's still good motive. The third movie does the same, and I'm sorry, that is life. It has motive, it has the same motive as 1 and 2, and it does it pretty well. Not well enough, obviously, but it did do it. Here's the thing. Spider-Man 3, the motive is still, Tobey needs to learn how to be Spider-Man. And I'm not here to talk about characters, talk about plot. I will get to that. I have a whole fucking, look at the essay I've written, okay? I will put it in the link in the description of this video. I have a whole fucking paragraph. I have written 20 fucking pages about Spider-Man 3 to ensure. I'll get to it. He is given a choice to be a stronger, better Spider-Man, but it will go against what Uncle Ben died for, because Tobey Maguire starts being selfish, petty, violent, angry. When Tobey takes off that Venom suit, that garbage, he is saying, no, I am Spider-Man. I am not this thing. I am Spider-Man. Okay, I will be combining 1, 2, and 3 because overall, the characters are very weak. This is actually where Tobey Maguire's trilogy gets very stale, is the characters. They are written well for the story. The characters are kind of just there for Tobey or the movie. The only character that has some kind of weight is Uncle Ben, and he's fucking dead. They are one-dimensional characters, flat. They don't have much of a character arc towards the start of the film to the end of the film. And they also are all kind of all over the place. The motives only really change for the need of the movie. For example, in Spider-Man 2, when Tobey gets surprised with his own birthday party, because he forgot, I feel that. Harry starts off with like, it's the scene goes like this, so Harry's like, Tobey, haven't seen you in a while, you keep dodging my calls. And then he sits down, the next moment is, I will kill Spider-Man. If you don't tell me who Spider-Man is, I will fucking kill him and I will fucking get you killed too. You better tell me who the fuck Spider-Man is. I'm gonna fucking murder him. That's how the scene went, and it's fucking dumb. He keeps doing it throughout the entire movie.
Kill Spider-Man. We'll give you all the tritium you need.
How do I find him?
Peter Parker.
Don't hurt Peter!
I will fucking... Okay. Tobey's Spider-Man 3. Alright. I told you I'd get to this, and I will get to this. But first, I just want to say I can enjoy this movie. I can sit down and actually watch it because I have grown to understand what Sam Raimi was trying to do. I get it. Yeah, you can tell where... I'll explain it. But first, I want to name out all the dumb things I found because I've watched this 12 fucking times back to back, and I want someone else to suffer with me. Ready?
Harry.
You knew this was coming, Pete.
Harry, when you find out that your dad's the Green Goblin, why do you want to kill Tobey? Your dad tried to kill MJ and you. You're stupid.
Harry.
Who else would it be? Who the fuck else would it be? Why would... It's fine. Did you just kill Harry? Is that what you just did? Threw a man in the air, you psychopath.
No!
I think he's gonna be fine.
I think so.
And you guys seem great.
Yeah.
You didn't tell her? You didn't tell her that his dad was trying to kill her and you? That didn't come up in the discussion? What the fuck are you doing? If you would have told MJ that Harry's dad was the Green Goblin and tried to kill you and her, and that Harry knew, and that he's probably going to come back in this fucking little green uniform, that would have solved 30 to 40% of your fucking problems, Tobey.
He's ring.
Why would you cheat in front of MJ and then go to ask her to marry you the same day? Do you like dementia? Are you dying? Is that like little fucking radiation going to your fucking brain?
If you want Peter to live, you're gonna do something for me.
It's over.
No.
He beat him twice already, right? Because his dad, and again, Toby, you should have told MJ this, his dad was the Green Goblin, and Toby beat him once. Twice, technically. Then, Harry takes the same serum. All we know is the same serum. We don't know if he improved it, probably not. And you think that Toby can't beat him? He beat a fucking metal octopus.
What did you do to her?
That's inhuman speed. Tobey Maguire should see that and be like, oh shit. Harry's the Green Goblin. MJ was forced to do that. Oh my god. I need to confront MJ. But instead, he doesn't. The entire plot doesn't make any sense. They just want an ending plot, which I think is so rushed. Why would Peter... I know he's in his black suit, but like, why would Peter... And that's why Venom did... Ugh, fuck. Why would Peter go fight Harry when he knows Harry is back? He knows what Norman is capable of, so what do you think Harry is capable of, right? Like, doesn't that make any sense?
His body came from his glider.
Why wouldn't that little tiny butler tell him? Why wouldn't that tiny little butler tell Harry that his dad was the Green Goblin? Also, that doesn't make any sense that the butler cleaned out the wounds of the glider from Harry's dad. That's what he says at the end, because in the beginning of the movie, Tobey Maguire puts fucking Norman's naked body on the couch for Harry to find. Then Harry grabs a gun, but then he gets obsessed with daggers for some reason. He fucking likes swords. That guy likes swords. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. Now that's out of the way, I want to talk about the film. Motive, character, plot, I want to talk about it all together, because this one's a little dicey, and I understand that there's some politics behind it, where Sam Raimi was pressured by Sony to put Venom in and all this jabba jabba, whatever. Let's just talk about the film. He did his best, and I honestly think he did a pretty good job. And this movie does plot very well. In the last Tobey's Spider-Man 2, you have the foreshadowing of Harry being the next Green Goblin. Cool. And in the third, you have to watch the storyline. Don't watch the weird dance. I know. Don't watch it. Just watch the storyline. The storyline makes sense. Harry gets what he wanted. He wanted to be like his father, and he does so. Even going so far as dying the same way his father did by his own glider in front of Tobey. It's a heartbreaking moment when you just saw an epic team up of Tobey and Harry putting down their differences. Whatever dumb, naked dad in your bed differences that could be. And they team up and they save MJ. Then when he's dying, you feel bad because you were so excited to see them together. Again, being friends. Yes, they could have handled it differently. Instead of Harry being vengeful about his father, maybe Harry would want to be a better Green Goblin for his dad. And then maybe because the Goblin serum makes you crazy, Harry becomes crazy, and then Tobey has to take him down. Then Harry starts to hate Tobey. And then the plot would have been the same. Venom thing didn't need to be there. Obviously it was stupid, but it got shoved in, but it sadly still works for the plot. Spider-Man is on top of his game right now. Everyone loves him. So he is tested again. He's tested to be the man Uncle Ben wanted him to be, that he has tried so hard to be in the series. So the Venom suit tested him during the fucking dance scene, the jazz scene. It is stupid and very dumb, but it works for the film. Like I said, it works. Did you know it's the same movie? Oscorp scientist gets pushed by an Oscorp higher up to get their work done. As they are doing their job, they become the villain wanting to change New York City, to make New York City in their own image, having Spider-Man trying to stop them, and also in the process killing a Stacy. Crazy. Andrew's rendition of Spider-Man 1 and 2, the plot is just a mess. In Tobey's rendition, I can see the plot fully. It is fueled by guilt. I know what he wants to do, and I know why. He needs to be responsible, and he needs to make the responsible choice to be Spider-Man and he does. He is Spider-Man, that's what he does, okay? Even Tom's rendition, you can see the plot. In the first one, he wants to be an Avenger, and he learns that he is better than an Avenger. He is Spider-Man at the end. He doesn't need to be an Avenger, he just needs to be Spider-Man. When Andrew is Spider-Man, it feels like an episode from Degrassi, not a Spider-Man film. There are no real consequences to his actions, and he never really learns anything from them. So it's really hard to gravitate or root for the character, and let me explain. There's no change for Andrew, and that's what bothers me. So, The plot starts off great, with it revolving around Andrew's parents having him to do, I don't know, science shit. I thought that was cool. It didn't revolve around Uncle Ben, and that was a breath of fresh air. But it's done poorly. When Andrew goes to find out more about his father at Oscorp, he ruins another kid's life. So the scene goes, Andrew steals a badge, just at our place, he steals Ricardo's badge. And then later in the scene, Gwen Stacy is explaining to the kids, like, if you like misbehave, you'll get thrown out, yada yada. And you see Ricardo. And it's like, fuck man, you just ruined that kid's life. Andrew gets his powers or gets bit by the spider. We're just like, oh, he's a good guy now. But when he's being Spider-Man, all I'm thinking about is poor Ricardo selling his telescope for crack. And the other thing with the dad thing is Andrew finds this formula that his dad left behind. It was encased in a briefcase, and it's super secretive, and he obviously wanted to hide it. And Andrew just gives it to Dr. Connors. When Dr. Connors becomes Lizard Man, and Andrew knows Dr. Connors is a little Lizard Man, he goes to Gwen's dad to like, he's the Lizard Man, but Gwen's dad doesn't believe him. But here's the thing, the scene before that, there was a rat that was like a lizard that mutated into a lizard. So why didn't you just bring that? Dr. Connors made this rat lizard, and now Dr. Connors also made him into a human lizard. Right? There's evidence right there with the rat. Why didn't you just take the rat? So it's Andrew's fault that the Lizard Man becomes the Lizard Man. And he says that. And it's cool. It's like, whoa, yeah, learn responsibility. This is your time to shine, man. This is what Uncle Ben was talking about. So first, Andrew knows it's his fault that the Lizard Man becomes a Lizard Man. And he says that. He says it's his responsibility, that this is his fault. He needs to fix it. And that's cool. That's a cool change in pace. That's really, really neat. And then Gwen's dad dies, and Gwen's dad says, promise me you'll stay away from Gwen, blah, blah, blah. And that's cool too. Andrew does it. Andrew does that. He stays away from Gwen. But then at the end of the movie, he's just like, some promises are meant to be broken. And Gwen just smiles like she's thinking about her dead dad, and she's just smiling about it. I'm like, whoa, man, are you getting horny over the thought of your dad dying? Thinking about Ricardo again. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Ricardo should have been Spider-Man instead. Cool. So that all clumps up together, really. Like the Lizard Man, Andrew's dad, smashes together. We get to the second plot point, and it's Uncle Ben dying. And this kind of motivates Andrew. Well, it should, but it never does. And there was really never any stakes. So you know when Toby punches Flash? That makes sense. Because Flash, before the punch, was going to punch Toby in the back of the head. But when Uncle Ben confronts Toby about it and is talking about being responsible, Toby is in the middle of doing something he isn't supposed to do. And that's why you feel conflicted watching Toby and Uncle Ben argue. And it's hard picking sides between Uncle Ben or Toby. So same thing happens, but it's just dumb. Andrew's Uncle Ben gets mad at Andrew for again hurting Flash. He didn't even mean to hurt Flash. He did a slam dunk and Flash was in the way. Flash literally asked for it. And you're watching Uncle Ben ream Andrew for hurting Flash. You're just like, it was an accident. Go to Toby's rendition. When you know that Uncle Ben isn't coming in such an aggressive way to Toby, when he could be, because you know Toby is about to do something that he shouldn't be doing, right? And you know Uncle Ben's gonna die, because you know it's a Spider-Man movie. Everyone knows the origin story. You feel sad. You're like, oh shit, that's gonna suck. But then when Andrew's Uncle Ben is screaming at Andrew, You're just waiting for it. When Toby lets the robber gets away, and that robber shoots Uncle Ben, the stakes are higher. You had MJ, the car, Toby's pride, Toby's new self-confidence. You had all these things running, weaving through that fucking sequence, right? You felt so conflicted. When Andrew let the robber get away, it was over milk. Okay. When Tom has his plot, you have the Vulture. Tom wants to be an Avenger. He wants to be a grown-up superhero. He needs to do what's right, but he has to take down his soon-to-be, wants-to-be girlfriend's dad. And that sucks. When you see Andrew's uncle fucking go for a gun on the ground after the robber drops it, by the way, clumsy, why wouldn't the uncle just run away? Like, the guy's on foot. Just step back. Why'd he go for the gun? That doesn't make any sense. You know when you watch a horror movie and someone goes down to the basement to check the noise and you're screaming at this person for being so fucking stupid. That's what you're doing when you're watching Uncle Ben die. When you're watching him, you're just like, why'd you go for the gun? Let's cut the crap. So I just rewatched Tom's rendition 1 and 2. And I had this whole thing that I was gonna put in about the movies and stuff. But I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. Because I just rewatched it and I don't know if maybe I was in a bad mood beforehand. But it's not that bad actually. The first one, the plot's good. They keep it safe. The plot is about Tom wants to be a revenger. It's relatable. He wants to seem more grown up, and then he realizes that it's okay to grow, and that's good. Characters are nice. The motive of responsibility is there. The motive to be Spider-Man is there. The plot is good. The plot is he wants to have a vacation. He wants to overcome his PTSD of losing Tony Stark and the whole blip thing, and that's cool. They even go as so far as Mysterio being the villain, and Mysterio is a good villain for PTSD because a lot of times when you have PTSD and trauma and all that stuff, you tend to hear or see things or feel things that aren't there. You know, you get anxiety. Mysterio is a good metaphor for what happens when you go through some kind of traumatic event, like losing someone, dying, coming back. The characters are all nice. They're all very variety. That's neat. So the motive is there too, right? The motive, he wants to get past his need to be Spider-Man all the time, but he also gets past his need to not be Spider-Man all the time. He's working through all that. Here's the thing though. Tom Spider-Man, and this is the problem for 1 and 2, is very boring. He's a boring, passive character. He doesn't really do anything for himself or for the movie. He just gets given things, which is kind of annoying. For example, in 1, Ned goes and fixes his suit. He does that programming hacker thing where he cancels his suit's what's it called? Babysitter mode. The end of the movie where Peter stops Vulture by himself and with his own suit and with all his own stuff, and that is it. That is cool. So that fixes that problem. But then the problem still continues in the second movie. So in the second movie, Tom's still very passive. And here's the problem with the second movie with Tom. He doesn't want to be Spider-Man. He doesn't want to go on this trip. He doesn't want to save these superheroes. He is so quick to give those glasses to Mysterio. It's insane. Why would you even do that? In the first movie, you learn how dangerous technology can be in the wrong hands. You have the Vulture suit, you have those guns, you almost killed a bunch of people in that fucking ferry, right? So that's a scary moment. And then you do the same thing where you put tech maybe in questionable people's hands. If you don't want the tech or the responsibility of Tony Stark, why didn't you just give that to someone else? Maybe Happy, hey, this is crazy, take this. I don't know, or even Aunt May, she could use it. The other thing too, it's really hard in the number 2 Tom Holland movie to really grasp the movie or feel gravitated toward the character when Tom Holland gets forced around, right? Nick Fury breaks into his room, kidnaps him, and then forces him to go on the mission. So it's hard to watch this mission because you're watching this through Spider-Man's eyes, so it's hard to watch this and feel root for Spider-Man because he doesn't want to be there. So if he doesn't want to be there, I don't want to be here. Editing right now. Jude and Judy are around me. I'm not. Let's just cut the crap. Let's just talk. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man has motivation and plot. The only thing it doesn't have is character. It's very bland, boring, stale. That's it. Andrew's series, it doesn't really have plot. It doesn't have motive, but it has a lot of character. And it's very stylized. Andrew's Spider-Man looks good. That looks fucking sick. Tom's, it does have motive, it does have plot, and the characters are cool. The only problem is that Tom himself doesn't do anything. And that sucks. Honestly, what I would like to see... Do you know what's weird? I kind of don't want to see another Spider-Man movie. Like, I know No Way Home is coming out, and I can say what I wish about that movie to happen. Obviously, I want to see Tobey and Andrew in there, right? Like, that'd be sick. But I don't think you'll ever get these movies right to 100%. I think we'll eventually do these movies so many times where we'll just get bored of it. Kind of like the Oceans movies, or even the Ghostbuster movies, or the, I don't know, the fucking X-Men movies. You know, it'll just become this thing. I kind of wish they stopped at Tobys because it felt like a special moment. Now every movie comes up, it's just more and more and more. I don't know. I'm excited for the next movie. I'm only excited. Here's the thing though, I'm only excited about the movie because I think Tobey is going to be in there. It's more of a spectacle. You know, when you first Spider-Man 2, Tobey, was going to come out, you were so excited because you were excited only because the first one. Because you were excited to see what happened or what's going to happen from the first. Here's the thing. In Tom's rendition, I'm just excited to see what they put in. I'm not really excited for the plot or the motive of the movie. Because I know that, okay, here is how Far From Home is going to go, right? Far From Home, or No Way Home, sorry, No Way Home is going to be Tom has to do this thing for the world, to save the world, but then he gets trapped in this like pocket dimension with all the other villains probably, and then Doctor Strange has to now save him and Peter and Tom, and then the Doctor Strange multiverse of madness begins, and then the Scarlet Witch is going to be the villain, right? That's good. What's going to happen? Tom is going to win. He's going to save the world, save his universe, but then he has to sacrifice himself. That's what's going to happen. And that's kind of sad. Like that is, they just keep making these movies so that I watch more of the other movies. I just want to watch a movie, and I just kind of wish it was done. And don't get me wrong, I love Spider-Man, and I'll keep watching these fucking movies forever and ever and ever until they'll pump these movies out, and I'll keep coming back. But I kind of wish it was just done. I wish they stopped, and then I can just enjoy them. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just kind of wish I could just enjoy them more. Or I can only enjoy them if they're done, because now, after this movie's done, and the climax happens, and the outcome is done, and if my predictions are correct, and Peter loses, whatever that means, and then the multiverse of madness happens, then I have to watch that one. But I only have to watch that one because I want another Spider-Man movie. See, the thing I like about Andrew's rendition and Tobey's rendition is that, I don't know, they're done, and I can just watch them. I don't have to like look into other little things and wait for other little things and yada yada. Maybe I'm being pessimistic. I don't know. I've just watched a lot of Spider-Man movies.